Welcome to another episode of The Sweet Spot, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with Free Super Tips. I'm Dave Clark, he's Steve Palmer, and hopefully we can bring you all the goodness in golf betting here. And we've got the top man on the punter's bag once again, Steve, and a profitable week last week.
Yeah, profitable week, but so close to the big potatoes. So near yet so far. It was nearly a dream fortnight, wasn't it? Obviously, Elvis Smiley won the Australian PGA. If Curtis Luck had then won the Australian Open, I would be currently buying Christmas presents for strangers, Dave. Was going to become a philanthropist for the rest of the year. But Curtis Luck got a bit edgy over those closing holes, which we'll discuss in a minute. And then Riggs Johnston, who I'm not a fan of. Riggs Johnston ruined the Australian Open for us at 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. So it's another through the
fair
night.
Play. If you manage to stay up, fair play to you. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I saw lots of people in the comments, Steve, happy with the place money. We didn't bag the winner, but the place money. Let's jump straight into it then. It was the Australian Open. Now, we started off very strongly. There was one or two Herbie gifts flowing around on our WhatsApp. I thought Lucas Herbert was going to do the business. But was it 3 of the 4 players placed? So a profitable week.
Yeah, we've got 3 players in the places. Yeah, and 2 of our players traded at odds on for the tournament. Lucas Herbert was odds on after just 2 rounds when he was 4 shots clear. And Curtis Luck traded at 1.4 on Sunday with 3 holes to play. So, Riggs Johnson, just a massive party pooper. He was 150 to 1 last week. And he was winding me up throughout the weekend in the early hours. I made the mistake of staying up for round 3, Dave, because Lucas Herbert was 4 shots clear. I wanted to keep an eye on Herbie. So I went for through the night action for round 3. And then you can imagine how I was feeling on Saturday. So I was knackered on Saturday. Went out on Saturday night with my lady wife and another couple, and had quite a lot to drink on Saturday night. Got back at about 12:30. And then the coverage came on at 2 a.m. So I had an hour and a half on the sofa, set my alarm for 2 a.m. And then the next moment I woke up, it was 4:45 a.m., Dave. I'd somehow slept through the alarm. It's on my lap. I don't know how it happened. So absolute panic stations at 4:45 a.m. I was just like, ugh. So I ran upstairs, had a quick pee, grabbed the dog who was barking away because she thought there was an intruder downstairs. So got the logistics out of the way, and then turned the telly on, and there he is, Curtis Luck, top of the leaderboard. Joyous moment. And I was for a couple of holes, it was looking really good from that moment onwards. My dad was texting me. My dad was up really early. He gets up really early every day. He was texting with Curtis Luck excitement, and then Riggs Johnson just spoiled the party. Dave. He was. He's not a player that I expected to spoil the party. There was plenty of others that I was worried about. I didn't think he was the one to worry about. And yes, it's very, very quickly went wrong, Dave. Do you want me to take you through the bullet points of what happened from there?
Well, I mean, I watched the highlights. I didn't watch it live, but it felt like a massive moment was the putt on 15.
Yeah,
Riggs Johnson.
Yeah. I just could not believe my eyes. He was holing putts that I just did not expect him to hole, and he made back-to-back birdies. You're right, on the 14th and the 15th, back-to-back birdies from Johnson, and then back-to-back bogeys from Curtis Luck at 17 and 18. So it was so sudden how things changed. Curtis Luck, as I say, 1.4 on the exchanges. We were going to have 125 to 1 winner. And the world was looking so rosy, and then just boom, boom, boom. It just and while all those disasters were unfolding, my whole family arrived on the scene because it was December the 1st. December the 1st, Dave, all this was happening. So obviously the elves arrive. I don't know how it works in your house, but the Christmas elves obviously arrive on December the 1st and start doing their cheeky thing. So both kids come down just as Riggs Johnson is rolling those putts in to try and hunt the elves, and the wife's on the scene. The advent calendars are coming out. There's Christmas cheer everywhere, and I'm just watching Riggs Johnson. I loathe Riggs Johnson. I have to be honest. Don't get me started.
Well, he's not ruined Christmas. He's not the Grinch, but he's spoiled the party.
Yeah, it should be called Scrooge Johnson. But as I say, I think he was 150 to 1. I can't believe he wasn't a bigger price. I mean, I think the bookies must be impressed by his name or something. I know he's got a fancy name. Did you know he's named after a Lethal Weapon character? Have you watched that film, Lethal
No,
Weapon?
I mean I know it's a peculiar spelling with RYGGS.
Yeah, and there's some fella on Lethal Weapon. So his parents have named him after a Lethal Weapon character. And he was a lethal weapon to our hopes and dreams on Sunday. But he had very little to advertise his chances. He's world number 954 going into last week. I'm obsessed with former world number one amateurs. Riggs Johnson didn't get higher than 32nd in the world amateur rankings. He didn't really win anything. He's just not a player I expected to make an impact so suddenly. But then he finished 8th at the DP World Tour Q School earlier last month. Then he was 43rd in the Aussie PGA in his first DP World Tour event, and he wins his second DP World Tour event. So, I thought 150 to 1 was a bit stingy, really. And I cannot believe that we had three in the mix. Lucas Herbert, when ye ding, our beloved when ye ding. He tied for 5th. Herbert tied for 5th. Curtis Luck runner-up. So, I'm trying not to be disappointed with it, Dave, because as you say...
Well, you should be. You should. The people in the comments are happy. You're knocking on the door. You're not putting up 3 players and they're all missing the cut. You're there. It feels like you're in the zone, Steve. We know this is your time of the year.
yeah, I'm in the zone, and we've only got 3 weeks to go, haven't we? This week, next week, week after, and then that's us done for until the new year. So, we're trying to finish with a flourish, and I think we are. And I'm pretty confident about this week. Trying not to be disappointed about last week.
Well, I've got 2 tournaments this week, a really good one as well. Then we're off to South Africa for the Nedbank, and we've got the Hero World Challenge, which I always just associate with Tiger Woods for some reason. I don't know why, but we'll get on to that. Any other takeaways from the Australian Open?
Well, I suppose we should just talk about what a good shape Australian golfers in. I mean, Curtis Luck finished second. They'll be the Aussies will be pleased to see him come back to form, because I still think he's got a very big future. He got nervous over the closing stretch there because he hadn't been contending for a big title for a while. Lucas Herbert, obviously, I also still have faith in him. Just luckless on the greens, really 3 bad putting rounds. He'd be fuming that he let that 4-shot lead disappear, and he actually didn't get his Open place. I mean, there was 3 spots for the Open Championship up for grabs. Herbert, when he's 4 shots clear, must be thinking, "Oh, I've booked my ticket for Royal Portrush." Didn't even get one in the end. And then when you ding, we need to keep a close eye on this fella. Pretty bright future ahead for when you ding. Elvis Smiley, how can we get through this broadcast without mentioning him? He finished in that logjam for 5th place. What a fortnight of goal from Elvis Smiley. I think he's probably the best of the Aussie youngsters. Jasper Stubbs, Harrison Crowe. So, if I was an Australian golf fan, I'd be quite optimistic about the future.
And is this, I suppose, a pathway for them to get on the PGA Tour? Get on the DP World Tour, like some of them have done, just for their performances last couple of weeks, and then try and build towards America.
That's it. Yeah. Elvis Smiley is going to take that route. He's gone from Australasian Tour now to the DP World Tour, and then next season I expect him to have a successful time on the DP World Tour, and then maybe he'll get one of those Race to Dubai rankings for the PGA Tour. So absolutely. We're all trying to climb ladders, Dave. I think Elvis is going places fast.
Good stuff. Right, let's move on then. We've got 2 tournaments. Now we're off to South Africa for the first of them. It's the Nedbank Golf Challenge at the Gary Player Golf Course. Defending champion is in the field, 2023 Max Homer, won by 4 shots. Talk to us about the track first, Steve.
Yes, sir. Gary Player Country Club, Sun City, South Africa, 7,819 yards, par 72, 4 par 5s. It hosted the Nedbank from 1981 to 2019. Then it staged the South African Open in December 2020 and again in 2021. Then the Nedbank returned in 2022. We got loads of other course form from minor Sunshine Tour events. I won't bore you with them. Massive course, but it's at altitude, so the balls fly far in the rarefied air. The first afternoon this week could be breezy, but not much wind in the forecast from there. The heat might be the biggest problem for the players, Dave. Temperatures set to reach 41 C at times this week. So extremely sweaty bloomers all round. A field of 66 going to post and no cut.
No cuts. Okay, right. So attribute then, what we're looking for. I'm assuming it's not distance.
Well, quality ball striking has been the key to success in this tournament through the years. Your Lee Westwoods, your Tommy Fleetwoods, churn out greens in regulation, and you'll be a factor.
Do you think that heat's going to be much of a factor? It can't be an excuse for many players. Oh, it's a bit hot.
Well, they're used to it, aren't they? I mean, that is the idea of these schedules. They chase the sunshine. So no, as long as they put their factor 50 on and a good cap, I think they'll be okay. But you want to be fit.
Okay,
it is a factor. Sorry, David, it is a factor. I always try and be facetious about most things, but it is a factor in terms of fitness. There aren't many players out there that aren't particularly fit these days. Monty might have struggled back in the day, and Fuzzy Zeller and Craig Stadler. Tim Heron. Tim Heron would have struggled, but there's not many unfit players. But if you want a young fit buck on your team this week,
they're the only players I'm backing anyway, Steve. So we'll be all right there. We'll be all right. Right, let's have a look at the market then. Corey Connors 12-1, Christian Bezuidenhout 14s, Max Home the defending champion 14s, Bjorn Olesen 16s. Decent field here, Steve. What do you make of the lineup? Corey Connors, bit of a strange one, but here he is, and he's the favourite.
Yeah, I think he's a very poor favourite, a very unappealing favourite. I can't be backing Corey Connors. What's he best price 10-1? I think he's suspect mentally. Course debutant. He's only won 2 tournaments as a professional. He turns 33 next month. And both of those wins were in the Texas Open. It's sort of like a Texas Open specialist. So, yeah, I just have no passion for backing him at those prices.
Okay, right. Well, who have you got a passion for? How many in the team?
I've got 2 in the team, Dave.
2 for this, and how many in the Hero World Challenge? 2.
We're going for a Desmond 2-2, a Desmond 2.
I like it. Desmond, yeah, Desmond. Absolutely. Right, who is the main pick then for the Nedbank?
Tom McKibbin. Have I ever mentioned him before? Tom McKibbin, 22-1, who will be so relieved to have secured his PGA Tour card for next season. It went down to the wire, as we discussed last week. He played the 72nd hole of that DP World Tour Championship in textbook fashion. So gutsy to earn his stateside ticket. He was under maximum pressure there. He hit 2 brilliant shots to reach the green. He had a ticklish downhill putt for eagle. So a 2-putt birdie secured him stateside golf next year. That event was obviously a triumph for Northern Ireland. Rory McIlroy lifted all the silverware. Tom McKibbin will be joining his mate Rory McIlroy on the PGA Tour next year. I expect there were plenty of celebrations at Hollywood Golf Club where McIlroy and McKibbin developed their games as youngsters. He's had a week off to freshen up, a couple of weeks to freshen up. And I think a trip to South Africa is the perfect way to get going again. McKibbin loves teeing up in this part of the world. His first full season as a professional was 2022. He started his Challenge Tour campaign that year in South Africa. He finished 3rd in the Cape Town Open when he was ranked 1,156th in the world. Then he was 7th in the Johnson Workwear Open the following week. So he rocketed it straight up to 611th in the world rankings. South Africa laid the foundation for McKibbin's professional career. He's played a total of 14 tournaments in Africa, Dave, as a professional. 4 on the Challenge Tour, 10 on the DP World Tour. He's made the cut in all of them. 8 of them have resulted in top 20 finishes. His record in this neck of the woods is rock solid. His one previous appearance at the Gary Player Country Club yielded 33rd place in last year's Nedbank. Solid debut. It's a driver's track. It's a ball striker's track. So McKibbin, a leading title contender for me on his second visit to this track. He's had a really consistent 2024, 10th in Abu Dhabi and 11th in Dubai in his last 2 starts. All that's missing this year, Dave, is a victory. Agonising playoff defeat for us in the Italian Open in June. So, the time has come for Tom to lift some silverware. Yeah, it's been a satisfying year for the lad, and it's going to get better.
And you love him. You do love him. You're a big fan.
I do love him. I love seeing those long levers. It's like a classic swing, long levers, nice attitude. I just think he's weakness free, and then I can't wait to see him on the PGA Tour. And I just think a DP World Tour event now is just like a bit of fun for him, isn't it? I think he can really have some fun this week. And I can't resist Tom McKibbin at 22-1.
feels like a bit of a free roll for him. You've put him
Yeah.
up a few times, Steve. Have you got room on the wall there? I can see an England shirt in the background. Is there any more room on the wall anywhere in the shed?
Yeah. Probably should have a McKibben picture up here somewhere, shouldn't I?
If he wins, I'm going to buy you something that's
Okay.
going up on the
Oh,
wall
thank
this
you
week.
very much.
We'll have a few quid on, and we'll play out the winnings
That'll
for
be my
some
Christmas present.
McKibben merch.
Yeah, I need
McKibben
Christmas.
merch up on the wall.
I like it. Yeah, that'd be a nice Christmas present, Dave. Thank you. Yeah, I've asked for a Luke Littler shirt as my Christmas present from my wife, so hopefully I'll get a Luke Littler shirt and a Tom McKibben picture. Yeah.
There you go.
And some
What a
Ferrero
duo.
Rochers. I need some Ferrero Rochers. Get me them as well, please.
Right, here's the main pick then for the Nedbank, 22-1 ish. We say each way play there looks at a solid play as well at that. So who's the other selection?
Nikolai Hoggar, also 22-1, I believe, who, like McKibben, hungry for silverware. Hoggard has not lifted any silverware this year. He's keen to continue his streak of winning a DP World Tour event in each of the previous 3 years. The DP World Tour Championship in November last year was his last success. He was gutted to not be able to defend that title. He didn't qualify for that last month. I think he'll take out those frustrations on Gary Player Country Club. From the French Open onwards, Hoggard has rediscovered his sparkle. The last month and a half has been really encouraging for Nikolai fans. Form figures of 18, 20, 9, 13. That 13th place came in Abu Dhabi despite an opening round of 71. He closed with rounds of 65, 66, 68. Looked right back to his best. He's had 3 weeks off to freshen up since then. I see him contending strongly for the Nedbank title for the second consecutive year. Banging it last year, you might remember. Runner-up. He finished runner-up last year. His 15 under par total last year, Dave, would have been enough to top the leaderboard in the previous 5 editions of the Nedbank. He was really unlucky to run into an inspired Max Homer. Hoggard took time to settle at this venue in previous visits, but that was due to too cavalier an approach. He was very ultra-attacking, and it didn't work out. Last year, had a much more conservative approach. His course management was excellent last year. I think he'll bring that professional attitude to Sun City this week because there's a lot at stake this week. We mentioned the winning streak that he's looking to continue, but there's also world ranking motivation for Hoggard. He's 58th in the world rankings. If you start the new year in the top 50 of the world rankings, you're playing in the Masters. He's not got any exemption for the Masters yet. So this is a big tournament for Nikolai Hoggard, and I expect him to produce.
Bit of motivation. I like it.
Yeah.
We're not buying any merch for him though. He's not on the same level as McKibben if he gets the job done.
I think motivation's
right,
important. Motivation's important this time of the year, Dave. Lots of players are sort of in holiday mode. You know, they got in their Santa outfits and they're not interested. But you know, I can assure you that Hoggard is.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to kind of get onto, Steve. With Max Homer's the defending champion. Look at some of the players at the top of the market. Corey Connors is the market leader. What's he getting up to?
Yeah, it's just a holiday for him, isn't it? Yeah, I just don't understand the price of Corey Connors. It's one of those weeks I'd like to be a bookmaker. I can't see me ever joining the dark side of the force. But if I was a bookmaker, I'd be looking to lay Corey Connors because he gets unsettled in familiar surroundings. This is a trip to South Africa. He's very unfamiliar surroundings and conditions. I just don't expect him to settle quickly. And then, Christian Bezuidenhout is 12-1, I believe, top price. Again, it's not a price that you can get excited about. His form is pretty humdrum. I think bookmakers getting a bit overexcited about his victory here in the 2020 South African Open. But remember that was during COVID times. It was a very low-key event. It was a rubbish field that he beat. He's got much more to beat this week. So I think the top 2 in the market are really short prices. Max Homer is next on the list at 14-1. Generally awful since the Masters. He was 3rd in the Masters in April, but has been pretty rubbish since. He sacked his swing coach after the St. Jude Championship in August. He finished last in the St. Jude Championship and parted company with his swing coach. I think his mind is cluttered with swing thoughts at the moment. He left this tournament last year after victory as world number 7. Didn't have a care in the world. He returns as world number 35. and you're much worse nick this year. So I don't like the top three in the betting, I really love my two.
That's fair enough. Anything else to add?
I don't think so. I mean, obviously Thunder Bear will tempt plenty. I love Thunder Bear, but he's not a great driver of the ball. I don't think. I want great drivers on my side this week, and I've got two of the best in the business.
Okay, let's move on then to the Hero World Challenge, and we talk about the best in the business, and the very best in the business is on show. Before we get into it, Steve, the chef is back.
Yeah, the very best in the business by a long way, isn't it? I mean, Xander Schauffele, a lot of people think he's getting closer to Scheffler, but he's not there yet, is he? It's great. Yeah, it's great to have the best in the business. But I'm really excited about watching him this week.
Okay, right. Quite a unique tournament. Where are we off to, and what's the format here, Steve?
Yes, it's Albany, New Providence, the Bahamas, 7,449 yards, par 72, 5 par 5s, only 8 par 4s on this course. We've got 5 par 3s as well. The World Challenge has been staged here since 2015. It's a luxury resort. Ernie Els is the course designer. It's wide open, relatively rough free. As a link style track. It's extremely straightforward for the tour professionals unless the wind blows. We've got clear and pleasant weather expected this week, light to moderate breezes, loads of birdies to feast upon. And we've got a field of 20 going to post, Dave. No cut. I'm definitely not going to tip a player who misses the cut this week, which is always pleasant because there's no cut in either event. So we're going to get runs for our money in both of them.
Okay, stellar cast as well. Now, I'm not up on my Bahamas geography, if you like, but this is definitely not in New York, as our running order suggests. Was that just put away by the production team?
Well, you'll have to ask the production team. No. It's a tropical location. We've got
This is a golf tournament that I would play in if I was a pro, Steve. If I could, this is what dreams are made of, right? We're off to the Bahamas. There's no cut. Just a nice weekend away.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tiger Woods is the man that's got to invite you. So. It's supposed to be the best of the best, but we'll get to the quality of the field. This year's field is not what we're used to seeing in this.
Okay, give us a key attribute that we're looking for at this course.
I think short game skills. I think around the greens is probably the trickiest aspect of it. You've got to chip really well around these greens. And the two players I've selected are two of the best in the business in that regard.
Right, market leaders, Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Ludwig Herbert, Patrick Cantlay, some big names at the top of the league betting list there. Steve, who is the main selection though?
Scotty Scheffler, a general 5-2 favourite. Get some enhanced win-only prices if you can. This field is poor, Dave. You've probably mentioned the best players there. Well, you have mentioned the best players there. It's the worst World Challenge lineup I can remember. A little while ago, this field was stronger. Hideki Matsuyama was supposed to be playing. Tony Finau was supposed to be playing. Billy Horschel was supposed to be playing. They've all pulled out. Tiger Woods is not playing. More importantly, Xander Schauffele's not playing. Rory McIlroy's not playing. Colin Morikawa's not playing. And perhaps even more importantly, Victor Hovland's not playing. Hovland is the only player who has managed to beat Scotty Scheffler in the Hero World Challenge. Scotty Scheffler has played in only the last 3 editions of this event. Hovland beat him by a shot in 2021. Hovland beat him by 2 shots in 2022. Scheffler won by 3 shots last year. So the chef has form figures at Albany of 2-2-1. He's the only course winner in this week's field. And it's easy to forget, Dave, how much Scheffler was struggling coming into this tournament 12 months ago. He actually arrived really low on confidence because his putting woes were so entrenched. He'd gone almost 9 months without a victory. His putter was letting him down badly, wasting all his approach play. He'd just had a nightmare at the Tour Championship. He was in tears at the Ryder Cup. Do you remember that? Crying at the Ryder Cup after Ludwig had given him a pasting. So rewind a year, coming into this tournament last year, Scheffler was a bundle of frustration, but rounds of 60, 69, 66, 65, 68 meant he cruised to Hero World Challenge glory. He just started working with Phil Kenyon as putting coach. They found an immediate solution to his putting problems, and the rest is history. The World Challenge was the start of Scheffler looking solid on the greens. He's played 21 tournaments since recruiting Kenyon as his putting coach, and he's won 9 of them. He's finished outside the top 10 in only 3 of them. He's the defending champion this week. This year, he's won the Arnold Palmer Invitational, the Players' Championship, the Masters, the Heritage, the Memorial, the Travellers' Championship, the Olympic Gold Medal, the Tour Championship. This has been a ridiculous year. He's been regularly winning massive events. I think he's going to end it on a high. This is his last event of the year. He hasn't played since the President's Cup, but he's the ultimate professional. He'll have prepared thoroughly for this. He's had the same amount of time off before this one that he had before the last one. But this time, he's in that break, he's had confidence, happiness. So he's fresh as a daisy, but he's in much better nick than he was last year. He won by 3 shots last year when a bit uncertain about his game. This time, how many is he going to win by this year? I mean, who can beat him, Dave? Give me someone who can beat him. You can definitely pick potential rivals. You can count them on one hand, I'd say. This field, you've got 8 debutants in this field. 8 debutants. 40% of the field have never seen this course. You've got Wyndham Clark and Tom Kim, who are probably going to be scrapping in the car park all week. After the President's Cup, they hate each other. And Tiger Woods, he's got a mischievous sense of humour. I wouldn't be surprised if he pairs those.
If they're playing together,
it'd be great, wouldn't it? Tiger, it'd be so funny if Tiger, because it's up to Tiger who plays with who. He used to always pick Justin Thomas to play with him. If he puts Tom Kim and Wyndham Clark together, fireworks after the President's Cup there. But the list of credible alternatives to Scheffler this week is so small. Let the chef pay for your Christmas dinner, Dave.
Let the chef cook. Right, well, listen, I know you put an ungodly amount of hours in to your preparation. The homework goes in, you live and breathe the sport. But let me ask you, Steve, how long did it take you to work out that you was going to tip Scotty Scheffler as the main pick for this?
I start at 8 a.m. on Mondays normally, and I finish about midnight. I try my hardest. I don't want to be tipping favourites. I want to find alternatives, but you can try as hard as you like.
But you make such a good case for him; it's almost obvious.
And 5-2 is perfectly fair, isn't it? I mean, there was some slightly better enhanced win only prices available yesterday. I just think, what price are you expecting to get? He looks a surefire. I mean, anything bigger than 2-1 is massive for me. And I've only got one player I think's got any hope of defeating him.
Okay, well, reveal all then. Who is the other selection?
Well, if you have a win-only bet on Scheffler and then you have an each-way bet on Justin Thomas, I think you've got such a formidable staking plan there. You can get 11-1 Justin Thomas, getting 4 each-way places. Or you could take 14-1, taking just 3 each-way places. This is one of the rare weeks when Bet365's 5-3 market is actually worth considering because you get a bigger win price there. So 14-1, 5-3, 11-1's available elsewhere, 5-4. Scheffler's 3-1 in that 5-3 market. You could back Scheffler at 3-1, 5-3. It's another alternative. He's never finished outside the top 3 at Albany. But Thomas, by far the main threat to Scheffler for my money. Win bet Scheffler, each way bet Thomas. You can also consider the Scheffler-Thomas dual forecast. I've seen 20-1 available about that if you want to jazz up your staking plan a bit more. Just fill your World Challenge portfolio with support for Scheffler and Thomas. I see him dominating the event. We've got 4 rounds guaranteed, no cut, great weather, no draw bias possible. There are only 20 runners, so they all tee off at a similar time. The circumstances are perfect for the cream to rise to the top of the leaderboard. Thomas just walking on air at the moment, just become a father. Little Molly Grace Thomas arrived safely on the 18th of November. So we've had a very recent example. Do you remember us discussing Rafael Campos? We've had a very recent example of the power of the nappy factor. Yeah. Justin Thomas, full of positive vibes, happy, relaxed, loose. A happy, relaxed, loose Justin Thomas is a dangerous beast indeed. Edginess and agitation is what's cost Thomas this year, particularly on the greens. There's been an edginess and agitation when he's putting. But I think we'll see a free-flowing carefree JT this week, and I expect him to build on an excellent Albany course record. He's got more course experience than anyone else in the field, Dave. He's played in every World Challenge since 2017. His form figures are 11, 12, 5, 5, 5, 3. And on the evidence of his last tournament, the Zozo Championship at the end of October, he's ready to strongly threaten again. He tied second in the Zozo, beaten by just a shot. His ball striking was exceptional all week. He dropped only one shot in that tournament. Just couldn't get the putts to drop, but crucially, he was happy with his stroke. He said he was shaving the edge of the holes. He was luckless on the greens. He was the 7th best scorer in the Tour Championship in his event prior to the Zozo. So the signs are really encouraging for JT fans. I wouldn't be surprised if a 16th PGA Tour title came on Sunday if Scheffler underperformed. Thomas's record in limited field no-cut events is better than anyone's. He's twice won the Century in Hawaii, similar sort of event to this, small field, tropical island. So, yeah, if anyone can beat the chef this week, then it's Justin Thomas.
I'm going to say it. He's trending in the right direction with this form.
Absolutely is. Yeah. Really encouraging. The last few weeks, I mean, the Tour Championship, he was good, really good. Zozo, really good. And obviously mentally really good for this. Yeah, it's the perfect nappy factory.
I mean, would it be harsh to say he's been in the doldrums for a little while prior to that?
No, that's not harsh. No, this is a player that, former world number one, used to winning tournaments regularly and hasn't been, 2-time major champion. No, that's fair comment, but the signs are positive. Yeah, the putting is still the main issue. But he liked the way he was rolling his rock in Japan. Not the most exciting staking plan I've ever come up with. And I apologise for that, but we're in the winning business, Dave, and not every week can we have an Elvis Smiley style coup. Sometimes you just got to take what's there.
Well, you've just put up the week before, put up a 3-figure runner-up, so we'll let you off, Steve.
Yeah,
I think.
There we go.
That front. Yeah. I love the nappy factor. Is this the first child for Justin Thomas as well?
Yes. Yeah. First child.
Oh, magical.
Molly Grace Thomas. So the child has actually got my 2 children's names in her name. My children are Grace and Thomas. So yeah, Molly Grace Thomas. I've got a lot of time for that name.
Did you catch the weight as well, Steve? You like to keep across it all.
Well, I didn't catch the weight, but I caught the health. It's a healthy baby. I mean, that's important. He's got you're always so relieved as a father if everything goes well and mother's doing well. That's always important. So mother and baby doing well. That's all you're after. And Justin will be able to concentrate on the golf this week.
Time to fly. Right, okay, so they are your 2 selections. I mean, you touched on it, that it's not the deepest World Challenge ever staged.
No.
Was any other players on the radar at all?
Well, obviously we have to discuss Ludwig Aubert. That's the law. I mean, he's the same price as Justin Thomas. But Ludwig Aubert just easing his way back into action after a long injury layoff. Understandably inconsistent on his return in the RSM Classic. He had 2 really good rounds, 2 really bad rounds. It's worth noting, though, Dave, that he was on the right side of a significant draw bias at the RSM. We've discussed the RSM Classic draw bias. He played the right courses at the right time. There was almost a 4-shot handicap over the first 36 holes. So Aubert's 17th place finish, not as impressive as it looks on paper. It's his World Challenge debut. I much prefer my 2. Patrick Cantlay is also getting respect in the market, similar price to Justin Thomas. Cantlay has not played in the World Challenge since finishing 17th of 18 in 2019. They've increased the field to 20 now, but he was second last on his last visit to Albany. He's had a pretty humdrum season by his standards, dropped down to world number 11. So I much prefer my 2 to Aubert and Cantlay. There was only 2 players I came close to considering other than my 2. Sam Burns is 14-1. He's been playing nicely lately. Sepp Straka at 40-1. If you want you want a big price. Sepp Straka likes this course. But for me, I just want my eggs in this is a very secure basket, I feel. So I think my eggs are going to hatch on Sunday night.
let the chef cook then. So we've got 2 and 2. We've got each way doubles aplenty there. So give us a reminder then, Steve, of who we're putting up this week. We'll start with the Nedbank Golf Challenge.
What about dual forecast double? That's just popped into my head. Is that even? Do they allow dual forecast doubles? I mean,
You're asking for a lot. I know that much.
I'm going to do that if they let it through. So yeah, Nedbank Challenge. Tom McKibbin and Nikolai Hogger.
And the Hero World Challenge.
Scotty Scheffler. Welcome back, Scotty. And Justin Thomas.
JT with the nappy factor. Well, Steve, it's been a pleasure as ever. Good luck with the punting this week. We'll get some McKibbin merch up on the wall in that shed, no doubt. Do drop a comment below. Let us know who you're backing this week. If you've been following Steve, he's been in great form in recent weeks. Enjoy the golf and remember to gamble responsibly, and we'll see you next time.